Alright, so I never thought I'd be the kind of guy posting something like this, but here we are. I guess part of me just needs to unload, and maybe someone out there will find some sense in the mess I'm about to share. A little context. I'm 32, work in IT, married for 5 years. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. At least, that's what I thought. I'm the type who reads self-help books on my commute, highlights passages, and tries to optimize my brain because, let's face it, tech work can make you feel like a zombie if you don't keep your mind sharp. My latest obsession was a book called 12 Rules That Will Unlock Your Brain. Catchy title, right? The whole idea was about discipline, clarity, and rewiring habits. I figured it'd help me focus at work and maybe stop doom scrolling at 2 a.m. But funny enough, the book didn't just mess with my work habits. It ended up messing with my entire life. Or maybe I should say, it opened my eyes to a truth I wasn't ready to face. Because while I was busy learning, rule number 3, always question the comfort zone, I noticed something about my wife that didn't sit right. Small things at first. Her laugh lingering a little too long over texts, her phone face down on the counter, late nights, working, even though her job rarely demanded that. My brain kept whispering, this is either paranoia or a warning sign. And that's where the story really begins. I'll be honest, at first I told myself I was being ridiculous. Everyone says trust is the foundation of marriage, and I didn't want to be that guy who snoops through his wife's phone because of a gut feeling. But once you've read enough about cognitive biases and hidden patterns, thanks to that book, it's hard to ignore when something doesn't add up. Rule number 5 in the book said, patterns don't lie, but people sometimes do. That line wouldn't leave my head, so I started noticing the patterns. She'd always keep her phone on silent, upside down. She started taking longer showers at weird times of day, and when I'd walk into the room unexpectedly, she'd minimize whatever she was doing on her laptop like a teenager hiding homework. Still, I brushed it off. I told myself, she's probably stressed. You're projecting. But then came the Friday night that flipped everything upside down. She said she was going out with her co-workers for happy hour. Normal enough, right? Except she left wearing perfume I hadn't smelled in years, the kind she wore back when we were first dating, when she actually cared about impressing me. That hit me like a punch. I didn't say anything at the time. I just watched her walk out the door, and for the first time in my marriage, I felt like I was standing on the outside of my own life. That night I couldn't focus on anything. I tried distracting myself with a video game, even opened up the 12 Rules book again, but my eyes kept drifting back to the clock. She said she'd just be a couple of hours. Midnight rolled around, still no wife. By 1:30 a.m., I gave up pretending I was calm. Rule number 7 from that book said, truth is often revealed in what is hidden. My brain twisted that phrase over and over until I finally caved. I opened up her iPad. Yeah, I know, not my proudest moment. But the thing is, she never logged out of her iMessages on there. Part of me hoped I'd find nothing, just a bunch of boring work group chats and maybe a couple of memes. Instead, what I found made my stomach drop. The first message I opened wasn't from her coworkers. It was from a guy I'd never heard of. The preview alone was enough to make my chest tighten. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place. I scrolled, and it got worse. Inside jokes, late night, I miss you texts, and way too many heart emojis. Some of the stuff they wrote was so intimate it felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Not just physical, but emotional. She was sharing parts of herself with him. The playful, vulnerable sides I thought were mine alone. I sat there in the dark, staring at the screen, feeling this horrible mix of rage, sadness, and disbelief. My mind was racing. Do I confront her? Do I wait? Do I even want to know the whole truth? And that's when the front door clicked open. When I heard the door, my body reacted before my brain did. I slammed the iPad shut and shoved it under the couch cushion like some guilty teenager caught watching something he shouldn't. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she'd hear it from the entryway. She came in all smiles, carrying that faint scent of perfume and cheap bar wine. Hey babe, she said, like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't just been texting another man about how much she missed him. I mumbled something about being up late with work. She nodded, kicked off her heels, and went straight to the shower at nearly 2 a.m. That was confirmation enough for me. My stomach twisted, but I kept my mouth shut. Rule number 9 from the book whispered in my mind. Never react at the height of emotion. Observe first. Strike later. That single line probably kept me from exploding right then and there. So instead of confronting her, I watched. I watched how she avoided eye contact when she came out of the bathroom. I watched her slip into bed and roll over without even touching me. And I lay there wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell my marriage had slipped through my fingers without me even realizing it. That night, I made a quiet decision. I was going to get proof. Solid proof. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I knew when I finally confronted her, she'd deny it. And I couldn't handle being gaslit in my own home. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I had lead in my chest. She acted normal, made coffee, scrolled through her phone, kissed me on the cheek before heading out to run errands. It was surreal, like living with a stranger who wore my wife's face. I didn't follow her that day. I wasn't ready. Instead, I went into full investigator mode. I reread that damn 12 Rules book, looking for anything that might give me clarity. Rule number 2 hit me differently this time. Clarity begins with evidence, not emotion. So I started gathering. Quietly, subtly. I synced her iPad messages to my laptop. I screenshotted the conversations and emailed them to myself. I checked phone records, noticed late-night calls that didn't line up with her work stories. Each little piece of data felt like another nail in the coffin of my marriage. But the worst part wasn't the sexts or the I love yous. It was seeing her encourage him about his job, talk about dreams of someday moving away together. Things I thought only belonged to us. That betrayal cut deeper than anything physical. By the end of the week, I had a folder on my desktop labeled Truth. Yeah, dramatic, I know. But opening it felt like staring into the wreckage of my own life. And still, I couldn't confront her. Not yet. Because a part of me still hoped I was wrong. That maybe there was some explanation I hadn't thought of. But deep down, I knew. The first crack showed up on a Sunday morning. We were sitting at the kitchen table, her scrolling Instagram, me pretending to read emails. The silence between us felt heavier than usual. So I asked, casually as I could, "Hey, how was happy hour the other night? Who was all there?" She froze for half a second, just long enough for me to notice. Then she rattled off some names of coworkers I vaguely recognized. Too smooth. Too rehearsed. I nodded, sipping my coffee, but inside my brain was screaming, lie. That was a lie. Later that day, I brought up another small detail. "Didn't you say Jessica left early?" Funny, because she posted a story around midnight. Her face flickered, the tiniest crack in her mask. Then she snapped back, defensive. "Why are you keeping tabs on me? Don't you trust me?" That hit me harder than I expected. Here I was, sitting on a digital mountain of evidence. And she had the nerve to make me feel guilty for asking one harmless question. Rule number 11 came flooding back. When people get defensive over simple questions, they're protecting a truth you're not supposed to know. I didn't push it further that day, but I could see it now. Her tells, her rehearsed lines, the cracks in the story. And for the first time since all this started, I wasn't just suspicious. I was angry. By the next week, the anger had started eating at me. It wasn't the explosive kind. It was quieter, like a steady fire smoldering in the back of my chest. Every time she smiled at me, every time she kissed my cheek on autopilot, it felt fake. Like I was living in some staged play, and I was the only one who didn't know the script. One night, she told me she had to stay late at work again. My gut told me otherwise. So I decided to test her. I casually said, "Cool, maybe I'll bring you some dinner at the office, surprise you." Her reaction? Instant panic. She scrambled. "Oh, you don't have to, we're ordering pizza. And I'll be in a meeting most of the night anyway." Her voice cracked. Just slightly, but I caught it. That was it for me. Proof or no proof, I knew. My wife, the person I built my whole damn life around, was lying straight to my face. I didn't call her out right then, though. Instead, I sat in the dark with my laptop open to that truth folder. I scrolled through the screenshots, each one twisting the knife deeper. Rule number 12 whispered in my head like a dare. Knowing the truth is useless if you do nothing with it. I realized I had a choice. keep pretending and rot from the inside out, or finally confront the reality I'd been avoiding. And for the first time, I felt ready to burn it all down. The confrontation came faster than I expected. She walked in late again. Hair messy, smelling faintly of cologne that definitely wasn't mine. Something in me just snapped. I didn't do the whole dramatic slam the phone down thing you see in movies. I was too tired for theatrics. Instead, I pulled out my laptop, opened the truth folder, and spun it toward her. "Want to explain this?" I asked, my voice low, steady. Her eyes darted to the screen, and for the briefest second, all the color drained from her face. Then, like flipping a switch, she went into denial mode. "You went through my messages? That's insane. You're invading my privacy." That word, privacy, nearly made me laugh. Privacy? She was building a whole other life behind my back, and suddenly I was the bad guy for catching her. I didn't yell. I just stared at her. "I'm not asking about privacy. I'm asking why my wife is telling another man she loves him." Silence. Dead, suffocating silence. Then her lips trembled, and she muttered the words I'll never forget. "I didn't mean for it to happen." That was it. No denial, no clever excuse. Just confirmation. And in that moment, I swear, it felt like the ground split open beneath me. Once the words were out, the floodgates opened. She started crying. Loud, messy, dramatic tears. She kept repeating, "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. I was lonely. I felt unseen." I sat there numb. It was surreal listening to the woman I thought I knew trying to rationalize stabbing me in the back. Every excuse sounded like static. "You felt unseen?" I finally said, my voice flat. "I begged you for date nights. I planned trips. I asked how you were doing, and you brushed me off. Don't stand here and act like this is my fault." But she kept going. He listens. He makes me feel alive again. "I still love you, That sentence right there almost broke me. I still love you. Like love and betrayal could exist in the same breath. Rule number 6 from that book flashed in my head. Love without loyalty is just performance. And suddenly, it all clicked. She didn't love me. She loved the security I gave her, the image of a stable husband she could come home to after playing pretend with someone else. The tears didn't move me. The apologies felt hollow. For the first time in years, I looked at her and saw a stranger. And in that moment, I made my choice. I was done. The next few days were a blur. She tried everything, apologies, promises, even suggesting therapy. But every time she spoke, I felt this wall inside me. The trust was gone, and once that's gone, what's left? I didn't announce my decision right away. Instead, I started planning my exit quietly. I called a lawyer, researched apartments, even opened a new bank account. Each step felt like reclaiming a piece of myself she'd stolen. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. While I was preparing to leave her, I found out she was already preparing to leave me. One night, she forgot to log out of her email. I wasn't even snooping this time. I just opened the laptop to check something, and boom, an email draft, unsent, but sitting right there. It was addressed to him. She was planning to move in with him. She was already looking at apartments across town. She even wrote, "I'll figure out how to tell him. He deserves better than being blindsided." That line cut deeper than all the screenshots combined. She was worried about him being blindsided, while I sat 2 rooms away, completely gutted. That was the moment I stopped mourning the marriage. Whatever love I thought was left turned into something colder, sharper. It wasn't sadness anymore. It was resolve. I set my plan in motion quietly, deliberately. No yelling, no dramatic confrontations, just calculated steps to reclaim my life. I moved important things to a storage unit, updated my address, and started looking at apartments in a part of town I'd always liked but never dared to live in. But here's the kicker. She didn't make it easy. The moment she realized I was serious, she tried to manipulate me with guilt. "We can fix this. I'll cut contact with him. I'll do anything." I listened, nodding, but every word she said bounced off the wall I had built around myself. Every lie, every half-truth, every tear she cried only confirmed what I already knew. The foundation of our life together was cracked beyond repair. And then, just when I thought I had it all under control, something unexpected happened. He Yes, the guy she was seeing showed up at my office. Not to fight, not to gloat, but confused, almost apologetic. Apparently, she'd been spinning stories, and he had questions she couldn't or wouldn't answer. It was surreal. The man I had imagined as a villain suddenly looked like just another confused human being tangled in the mess my wife had created. And in that moment, something clicked. The betrayal wasn't just hers. It was a collision of choices, poor decisions, and selfishness. I walked out of my office that day feeling lighter. After that encounter, I started emotionally detaching. It wasn't easy. Years of marriage don't just vanish overnight. But I realized I had been carrying a weight that wasn't mine to bear alone. I spent evenings alone for the first time in years, reading, running, and even revisiting my 12 Rules book. Rule number 8 kept echoing. Your mind grows when it lets go of what no longer serves you. I began to see the bigger picture. This wasn't just about betrayal. It was about reclaiming my life. I set boundaries with her, limiting contact to what was legally necessary. I started seeing friends I'd neglected and discovered hobbies I'd forgotten existed. And here's the strange part. The pain that once consumed me began to fade, replaced by clarity and a sense of control. I was still hurt, sure, but I no longer felt trapped. The betrayal had happened, yes, but it didn't have to define the rest of my life. I even started journaling, like I was preparing a roadmap for myself, emotional GPS, if you will. Every entry reminded me, survival isn't just about enduring, it's about learning, adapting, and growing. As weeks turned into months, I started noticing unexpected lessons creeping in. Life had handed me a wreck, but somehow, I was building something stronger from the pieces. I learned that emotional intelligence isn't just a buzzword, it's a survival tool. I could feel my reactions before acting, understand my triggers, and recognize manipulation from a mile away. I became more patient with myself, more honest with my own feelings, and, oddly enough, more compassionate toward her. Not for her, but for me. Holding on to anger endlessly only poisoned my own brain. I also learned that betrayal teaches perspective. The small lies, the evasions, the little betrayals we overlook in daily life, they all matter. They're like cracks in a dam. Ignoring them only makes the flood worse. I realized I had been ignoring little cracks for years, trusting comfort over truth. And the victories were subtle. I could sit through a day without thinking about her, without checking my phone compulsively. I could enjoy a weekend without obsessive mental replays. I was reclaiming my brain, my energy, my clarity. Rule number 10 had a new meaning for me. Discipline your mind, or it will be disciplined by chaos. Closure came in the strangest way. Not with a big confrontation, not with tears or shouting, but quietly, in the middle of an ordinary Wednesday. I was sitting at my new apartment, sipping coffee, listening to the rain hit the window, and I realized I hadn't thought about her in hours. No flashbacks, no resentment bubbling up, just calm. I even laughed at a memory, one of the small, silly fights we used to have, and it didn't hurt. That's when it hit me. I was free, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I had survived the betrayal, and instead of letting it define me, I had learned from it. Rule number 4 echoed in my mind. Pain is temporary, but wisdom lasts. All the sleepless nights, the heartache, the evidence, the confrontation, it all led to this moment. And for the first time in months, I felt whole again. I realized that betrayal is brutal, but it's also a chance to see yourself clearly, to recognize your worth, and to reclaim the life you deserve. And I finally understood, no one can control your mind but you. Looking back, I can honestly say this experience changed me in ways I never expected. Betrayal hurt like nothing else, but it also forced me to confront my own patterns, my own blind spots, and my own limits. I learned that trust is fragile, but clarity and self-respect are invincible if you protect them. If there's one piece of advice I'd give anyone going through something similar, it's this. Don't rush to forgive, don't rush to react, but don't let the pain linger either. Gather your evidence, protect yourself, and prioritize your mental and emotional health. Recognize the lessons hidden in the chaos about boundaries, self-respect, and the kind of love you deserve. And maybe most importantly, remember this. Your brain is your most powerful tool. Train it, protect it, and let it guide you through the messiness of life. That 12 Rules book I obsessed over, it didn't just teach me productivity hacks. It taught me how to survive a personal apocalypse with my mind intact and to come out stronger on the other side. So yeah, betrayal sucks. It's ugly, messy, and unpredictable, but it doesn't have to break you. It can teach you, sharpen you, and, if you let it, set you free.